my second channel. Today we got Pearl. Okay. Yes. I know her from church. Remember them church stories? Alright, let me stop before people get upset again. Today we're going to be talking about voodoo stories, y'all. Because you guys wanted to hear voodoo stories. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to bring some Haitian friends over. So we're going to be doing a lot of these, okay? We're going to be having other people. We're going to be having other voodoo stories. Yeah, there's so many different types of voodoo stories. Some people have good ones. Some people have bad ones. You know, I have a lot of friends that were like born because of voodoo. Oh. Yeah, I have one friend, like he's one of my closest friends. His mom could not have kids and she went to an Oga. Helped her conceive him. Like, yeah, we call him the voodoo kid. It's just a joke. We be like, oh yeah, you're the voodoo kid.
Listen,
he's doing great with his life now.
In vitro now. So
no, seriously,
that shit helps.
Yeah, he, you know, but then I know people that, you know, all of a sudden just get sick because you know we're Haitians. Yeah. No one can die of natural causes. It's always voodoo. They always have to make someone responsible, which is ridiculous to me. It's like, come on, now, that's not voodoo. The person was sick. Like, I've seen instances where the person been in the hospital for 4 weeks and I'm so, oh, Jack keep on voodoo. And I'm like,
tout that guy says zombie, right?
Yo, everything is zombie. Voodoo. I'm like, why can't the
everything is zombie?
Like, no, he had a heart attack. No, yo, man, keep that. Okay.
Yo, Mademoiselle.
You were, yo. They got him. Like, wait. Like, well,
they ate him.
I just don't. At this point, I just listen, cause you can't reason with these people.
I think sometimes some of the stories make sense though.
Some of them do. Some of them do.
Like, how can people? I mean, I know herbal medicine does help, but also there's some type of spirituality after.
Oh, absolutely.
There has to be some type of spell or something.
Yeah, certain things I have to admit are a little strange. Like, example, I knew this girl who passed away, and she was a kid, like 9, and she just out of nowhere passed away, like around the time when her parents were divorcing. So, you know, everyone's general consensus is, oh, the man didn't want to pay child support, so killed the kid. Yeah, to this day, people still believe it, but that kid was young. What happened? It is a little...
Kids be dying.
Kids die.
What's the reasoning behind it? Because of child support?
Because of child support. I mean, child support can ruin your life.
Yo, I feel like a lot of guys will be doing that shit.
Yeah, don't do that. It will come back to get you if you did. Then there's other situations I've heard of people like husbands and wives, you know, like other divorce situations where it's like the wife will send voodoo on the husband or the husband will send voodoo on the wife. Now he's a bum, now he's drinking in the street, now
the whole story is about them changing them into like animals and stuff, changing you into a cow so you can work in the farm for them.
Yes.
Your parents.
Yes.
Those I hear a lot of.
Yes, those I've heard. And I did talk about that in was it my zombie voodoo video? I think I did a zombification video. Was it zombie? Yeah, it was zombification where it was basically like
talking about how people die and then they change you to zombie and you're working for them. It's funny you're saying that. It's because, okay, so my mom, she used to go to this machan, which is somebody who sells food.
I know what a machan is.
Okay, my sister used to go buy food, and then they used to go there all the time. They met this woman, they love her food, they buy from her constantly, right? And then one day, I guess they became kind of friendly. So the lady was like, I need to tell you a story. And then they were like, okay, what is this story about? And then she started telling them that she's a zombie. So my mom was like, you're a zombie?
Selling food?
Like,
I never heard that. I only thought they work in food, bro.
Listen to me though. She started saying that she's a zombie. They're like, what the fuck, man? You look just like us. What do you mean a zombie? Because this is not what we think of when we think of zombie. We think of people who can't really function.
I learned that.
Yeah. And she said that when she died at her funeral, like she actually had a whole death. They had a funeral.
That's usually what happens.
At the funeral, there was like a baleine, which is like a candle. They lit up, you know, during her death. And the sear of the baleine, of the candle, kept falling on her food, burning her, and she felt it the whole time. She's like screaming to take it out.
Her into a zombie?
Let me tell you the story. So she started by saying that she said that she kept getting burned, and then she's like screaming and nobody's listening to her. They put her, they bury her and everything, and then at that night
the Ogo came.
The person back when
whoever it was,
the person comes and they take her up, and she's normal, except she's just feeling a little bit hazy, like she's not entirely there. And turns out that it's somebody who she knew who was doing something not for her but for somebody else. Uma family vraiment like very jealous because somebody said something that they were not supposed to say. So instead of punishing that person, they took her instead. And they're turning her into a zombie so that other person can suffer, right? Now think about it. Now my mom is like, I don't believe the story. You're saying a lot of bullshit right now. Like, you just like us, you're talking like us. She said,
that's how it is.
She said she showed her the food that she was talking to them about, and you could see the burn on her feet. The food that was burning that night of her funeral. And that's how my mom actually realized that this is probably real. She never went back.
Wow.
This is a story about zombie that I have.
Listen, I'll look at it from a spiritual standpoint, right? Allegedly, okay, people who practice voodoo believe that they turn people into zombies and all of this extra shit in order to punish them for certain shit. However, people will sit there and use it for bad and do things to other people, right? So that is exactly what happens. The person dies, but they don't really die. So now let's bring in the science aspect. Apparently they use a concoction of drugs.
Exactly.
And it's like a 3-step process. First you gotta give the person the drugs, then they die, but they don't die. But you have to like dig them up really, really quick before the funeral. Give them another concoction.
And then make them easy.
Exactly.
They're constantly on drugs.
Exactly.
And the thing is, the reason why we don't truly believe it, or it's like when somebody's dead, right? You know you buried them, and then they show up to you. You think that's a spirit. That's scary to you.
Yeah.
So that person who's dead, who's a zombie, they can never truly go back to their family. Because that family is gonna be freaked out.
Yeah, they're gonna be terrified because they're grieving.
I think that's where the zombie ideology comes from. That person could be just drugged up, but you know that you buried them. There was no pulse or anything, so you're scared of that.
And that's what's scarier, because even like with doctors and stuff, like you literally are medically dead. Like you have no pulse for like
it's so funny,
12 hours.
There are movies like that where they show you that the person takes the drug, pretend that they're dead, and then they forget them underneath. So if you forget them, they
really will die. You have to really go back and get them. And you know, it depends on what you believe. You may think that the person is really dead. You may think they on drugs. Regardless, it's a little creepy.
Feel like are so drugged up that by the time they realize what state they are, they're dead to their family. They can't go back.
So they just
knowing, especially how we're very close-minded about everything. If you go back, they'll think you're spirit.
Then they really gonna kill you.
And now you're real dead.
Yeah,
so
you know, some Haitians are mad religious. Oh, jump.
Yeah.
It's a wrap for that. So
super religious.
Regardless of if you believe the zombie is really real or the voodoo is real or not, it's still a bad situation. If it's real, oh shit, I'm dead, but I'm not dead. But if it's not, oh shit, what am I gonna do? My family don't care about me no more. You know, there's been stories like that apparently. Like there's actually like a whole recorded case on a zombie that came back in Haiti, and he popped up in like DR or something. Talk about it in one of my videos. Yeah, I think it was like the 80s. He died. He was medically, you know. This is when the white people really took an interest to it, because it was like, what? He's dead. And it was white doctors that declared him dead. Like they weren't from Haiti. These were white American educated doctors.
I mean, the people are technically really dead.
Yeah, they technically are.
The pulse may be really faint to the point where you don't even detect it at this point.
Like there's zombies walking around Haiti, like literally, like people who think they died or have died coming back to life to basically be servants or work in fields or whatever the case. It's mad crazy. Like you never know what you're walking into. Like you don't know who you talking to.
Or just be nice to people, because a lot of it has to do with
that's what it is.
You know, when you a piece of shit to somebody else,
you got a bad attitude. You stealing people money. You on somebody's corner selling the pote, and that's their corner. People gonna be upset. People gonna be upset. Actually, my mom told me about this one story about
selling them pots.
Yo, that happened. That happened to my aunt. Yo, let me tell you. So one of my aunts is like real big in Haiti for selling food and selling other stuff, to the point where she don't even take care of her kids. All she does is literally make kids and drop them off to my mom. Let me stop. That's not nice. Anyhow, so she's so good with the mashun shit, right? So it got to the point where someone was jealous of her, and it was like, oh, nah, that's messed up. Like, how she making all this bread? That. Sent the whole whatever against my aunt. I don't know what my aunt got, but shit ain't touch her. All of a sudden, the lady turned into like a bird. Like
came back.
She came into some ugly bird.
Or like, you know, anointed or whatever.
Yeah.
You can do something to them. You thinking it's gonna affect them,
gonna
but
bounce
it
right
comes back to you. And that's like, that shit is.
And the lady died with like, I think she died as a bird or something. She probably got shot or some shit. Some stupid shit happened to her. I was like, over some pot there, bro? Like under some food?
happen. It's over making money. You know
it's
what I mean?
over money.
Some people be hating on you when you like out here. Lembe, right? There's a huge lake, rivière. I don't know if
Cap-Haïtien, right?
Cap-Haïtien.
Yeah, Cap-Haïtien.
Yeah. But Lembe is not exactly in Cap-Haïtien. It's like right before Cap-Haïtien. Even though I feel like a lot of people say it's the same, but it's no. You know, it's in the north. Anyways, in Lembe, there's a big river where people go and shower, do whatever, like wash clothes. This person, this old man, the stories about him, he goes into the river, and apparently the river is known for having what we call in Haiti la sirène, which is part
mermaids.
of voodoo. Mermaids, but also like Mamiwata in African countries, stuff like that, in Maya, in like Portugal and Brazil. Anyways, so when he would go to the river, nothing would happen to him. But that day, it's like there was a reptile, you would say, and then it dragged him into the river. People think he drowned because he never came back. Now, after like a year, 2 years, he's presumed dead. He comes back the third year, normal. And then people start to ask him questions. What happened to you? We saw you, we knew you drowned, we never found your body and everything. And he starts to explain to them that he was living underwater the whole time. He was living and he was telling them that there's a country underwater just like ours, but a lot more technologically advanced. And the people had him working for them. They were actually interested in what he was doing on Earth, so he shared what he was doing on Earth with them, and they shared their own secret and everything. And they have a spiritual thing where they shared to him the secrets about how to heal people. So when he came back with, we call that a cream. I don't know how they say that. It's like a crucible-ish. Is it a crucible in English? Comes back with one of those rocks, like a special rock, and they told him that if he puts the rock inside the tree and he puts water in it, he puts it somewhere special, like he'll be able to heal people. And he does that. Like he comes back to Okap Lembe and he does that, puts it somewhere, hides it, and every single time somebody is sick in Lembe, even if you were paralyzed, like paralyzed, you never walk in your life. If you have to enter his house, you're walking. You walk directly to his house. He became the biggest healer in that area. I'm sure some people probably heard of him if you are from Cap-Haïtien, but he became one of the biggest healers down there. They're very it's very well known for that. In that way,
it's not always negative and evil and demonic, because people always want to associate it. But when you think about it too,
it's like, before you weren't that person. Yeah. If you're truly telling me that maybe underwater you learned those skills because out of nowhere you became this like really strong Hugan, like there must be some truth to it.
Yeah,
there must be something else underwater that we don't know. I mean, it's not, we really haven't explored that much of the ocean.
Yeah,
so I'm willing to believe that that could be a thing. Maybe it's voodoo, maybe it's not, but that spirituality does exist, and he really has become like the biggest healer.
Is he still around? Oh my god. Did he have any kids or anything?
Yes, he does, but I can't tell you too much about the lineage.
Yikes, that is so interesting. See, at least that's positive. At least he did something positive. He wasn't out here.
But I know some negative stories about mermaid where apparently if you see them and they leave like their comb behind.
Yeah,
you I talked about that before. If it doesn't belong to you, I don't know. They'll make you go crazy until you bring that stuff back.
I've always heard that. I've always heard not to.
It's not always like cool
I've always heard that, but I've heard of the other opposite. Like if you find the comb, you'll be really rich and your hair will grow long.
If it belongs to you, but if they didn't leave it for you specific, sometimes they say that when you see a mermaid and they're looking at you combing their hair and they purposely leave it and you take it, then you become rich. Then you have the in I think in Haitian voodoo they call them, you know, like Simbi Nanlo, and that's how the spirit of Simbi kind of like claims you. Oh, so that's when you get the riches, but you constantly have to pray to that, you know, water spirit.
So it's basically like them calling,
saying that you're mine now. They're claiming you until they're. You know how in Twilight, I know it's weird for me to even bring it up.
I haven't even watched.
Get out! So when Jacob like accidentally imprints on what's her name, Bella's daughter. that's kind of like how I feel like the whole mermaid claiming you thing is. Like if they like you, they'll claim you by leaving something behind, and you actually just benefit from that. If not, well, you're gonna die if you don't bring that.
Yeah, that's so.
You will die.
I wonder what these cones look like. That's what I wonder, like, what is the cone? So how do they kill you in that part? They can't really get into like off water, right? I always want to know, like, do they have the ability to like shape shift into
Okay,
legs?
so my mom told me that when she was very little, there was a guy. She lived in the Bay. There was a guy who was the magista or whatever, very rich guy. They said that he used to worship les trois femmes d'Égypte, which is like 3 female spirit in the Haitian.
I've heard of them, but I didn't do too much.
religion.
Yeah, I didn't look too deep into it, but I've heard of that one.
Yeah, they said that technically sometimes they can be connected to the Simbinando thing, and they can walk to be represented as those people inside his home. One time, my mom went into the room accidentally and she saw the person combing her hair, and the hair is just falling all on the floor like that, and she had to like close the door and just leave because she was scared about it. And when she went back to her house, grandma was like, you need to never tell anybody about this ever. And she's been like at least a year not talking at all, and then after that she started talking, and then she doesn't tell the story to people just randomly now that she's in, you know, more religious, she's able to talk about it.
So you told me she just saw the mermaid just
combing her hair.
Why is it in the house?
I'm just saying.
I would have been like, you
can
that's
walk
somewhere to
with
go.
her.
I would have been like, this ain't your friend.
Can we swim? Can we swim?
I can't.
Yeah, people are swimming, snorkeling, going deep in the water. So I'm assuming that if they have the kind of technology that they probably have, they would be able to walk on Earth as well.
But
they say that
I just would have been like, why are you here? I want to know what to do.
why not? I would love to meet some.
I want to see one, but not in my house.
Okay. But remember, the guy is a voodoo worshiper, so maybe in that way he's intertwined with voodoo.
Maybe they was chilling, watching Netflix or something, and they was like,
maybe it was his wife.
Yo, I was gonna say that he might be married to one. I've heard of that. I've heard a lot of stories of like men being claimed by mermaids and all that. I'm like, what?
The cool thing about it is that they make you rich, bro.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I'm just saying,
They make you rich.
Any mermaids out there watching this? Claim me, you know, low key. Don't make it hard on me.
Just don't come in my house
to meet you.
Yeah, I really want to see one. I think it's so cool.
Right?
But I just don't want to be in the water, and I don't want them in my spot. I don't want.
You don't even go to water.
Exactly. But if I stay in the boardwalk, they can't walk to the boardwalk.
But would you be able to tell? Can you tell if somebody comes up to you and say, "I'm a mermaid"? Would you believe them? You would have to see the fish thing.
Yeah,
you don't go to water, so how would you see it?
I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out. I need to see a mermaid. I think they are just the coolest phenomenon ever.
I think so.
Like, and they're just, oh my god.
You know how people are like obsessed with aliens? I'm more obsessed.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with mermaids. Even though I don't like water, I like to look at the water. And you know, they say some mermaids are hideous, and then they, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like other cultures have hideous for like that's their take on mermaids, but we've only talked about how beautiful.
Yeah, I've seen both. I've heard Haitians talk about both. That's the thing. I've heard Haitians tell me that they're really ugly. Stay away from them. They're evil. Then I hear oh my god, they're beautiful. They make you rich. I'm like, all right, which one is he? Like, for me, I feel like it depends. Because the people I know that are
maybe it depends on what kind of experience they're having. Maybe they were stealing from those mermaids.
That's what I said. I was like, first of all, you probably did something. Or my logic is mermaids are just like people. You know how there's shitty people and there's good people. I feel like it's the same
that could be that
concept.
But
like,
I don't know if I would say that they're physically ugly though.
People be saying
but in
that.
the movies, they've been showing you a beautiful and all of a sudden you see a fucking like the ugliest creature and you're like, what the hell happened?
That's what, I've heard of that too, like kind of on some Izul stuff, like how like one minute she's happy, next minute she's the same thing with mermaids.
In Haiti, there are places like Sodo where they say that that's where La Sirène stays. All those stories are about beautiful mermaids, bro.
Because you know Izul is like associated with Sirène, so I'm like, okay, did y'all just get that? That's what I'm saying. I'm like, when I started hearing the ugly thing, I said I never heard of mermaids being ugly. But like when I actually
maybe the stuff they do are ugly.
That's what I'm
really
saying.
Rip you apart,
I heard they
drown
can really
you.
kill you.
That could be scary in a way. Movies are like that.
Yeah, every time people told me that. I think, was it my mom that said that moly is mermaids?
Yeah.
And I ain't never eat that shit ever again. Because I said, why would you tell me that?
Moly is very good chick thighs. So I would never stop.
I'm not eating that no more because now I think it's
by the way, moly is called, you guys.
Yeah, codfish, y'all. But nah, that's scary. Like, can you imagine? No. Like, every African I know says that they're ugly. I don't think I've heard any African say that they look good.
But then their representation of Mademoiselle is a beautiful woman, so I don't know what they're talking about.
That's what I said.
The spirit and spirituality is pretty, and everything else, the actual creatures.
There was one story I read online about how like these two guys were fishing in Africa, I think Nigeria possibly, and they found a big like a mermaid, and it was huge, like biggish, like big. It took up like the whole boat. They said that they found this really big mermaid. And you know they were about to, I guess, bring it to, because you know pheasant. When pheasants, why are you trying to take this shit back? You know that shit ain't trying to be found. You know, so the mermaid threatened them, like, if you don't put me back in the water, I'm going to drown the whole village. Like, I will kill everyone. And they had to let it go. Yeah. That mermaid was like, throw me back in the water, I'm killing everyone.
I don't want to say anything controversial, but Africans be scammers, so they be like.
Haitians have a huge imagination. Africans be also.
Everybody who has a very African origin, we just have the biggest imagination.
That's why
I don't know if the stories are real. Because you could say, something could happen normal, and then Haitian person is telling you about it.
They put epics to every situation.
They had Maggie.
And the whole, and then you find out the real story.
And then you like, I was there, I didn't see all that, but alright.
Every time my mom tells a story and I'm there and I'm like, this is not even true. I really don't listen to 90% of the shit.
So that's how, like, sometimes you hear the stories, you're like, I don't know, I can't quite believe it. Y'all just.
But at the same time, I always give it a little bit of thought, because like, yeah, I mean, it is Haiti and it is Haitian people, and it ain't nothing unbelievable. But at the same time, it's like, this story don't make no damn sense.
Speaking of unbelievable thing, right? So my mom knows this guy who apparently growing up, he didn't have a visa. He didn't know how to. He didn't have anything to any means to travel to the United States, right?
Yeah. It happens to a lot of people.
But guess what? If you needed something from the U.S., if somebody was to send you a package from the U.S. to Haiti, if you told him, like, he would tell you, you would call him, right? You would tell him the location, where you're putting it and everything. The next day, you would find everything, like all this stuff that you took in that space would be in Haiti. That means he was teleporting from Haiti to the U.S. Grabbing the state and going.
That I never heard of. Teleportation.
Wait, first of all, the CIA has a whole Stargate project. They're talking about that on there, so that could be true.
Hey, you probably done. No, nah, I need that, so I don't have to drive. I don't have to take no plane.
How would he come overnight to the U.S.? That had to be that. And where would he
go? LOUGAWOU and he flew.
I don't know. That's kind of a
he a bird. He a bird. There you go. He a bird.
Okay, but think about it. All those stuff. Okay, you know how in Haiti we have those clothes that we sell?
Yeah.
How can someone fly with all of that in their hands? That's just wouldn't make sense.
Didn't birds used to like mail shit to people? Okay, not no cargo though.
No cargo.
I'm trying to make it.
You should see those cargos Haitian people.
Yeah, those shit big.
A lot of stuff down there.
You know what?
And then how would he get it? How would he get those things? If those things are in the U.S. and in Haiti, it's not like we have those things.
Is it still here? He's still around? I need some stuff I'm trying to send. So one of the main stories, my first ever voodoo, I guess, type of experience was in Elizabeth. There was a building that I lived in my entire life. If you guys have been watching me forever, you would know, but not really, because I never really, whatever. The point is, I lived in this building and there was a guy on, I guess I lived on the top floor. He lived on like the second floor. So there was a floor separating us. So it was like fourth, third, he lived on the second. Okay. So I lived on the fourth at this point, yeah. And then there was a fifth. So I lived on the fourth, and this guy, yeah, it was an Asian guy. And the guy was doing all types of shit, like illegal shit, like pushing drugs, I guess prostitution, I don't know. He was doing a lot of stuff. Like I remember, because when I was younger, bitch, I lived in the hood. You talking about, sis? It was a trap building. It was a trap building. What the trap house? It was a trap building. I grew up literally in the trap, and you know what's crazy? Each apartment had its own whatever the fuck. My floor was actually fine. That's the crazy part. My floor was fine. The third floor was find sometimes the second floor was where it was at. The first and the second floor, they had a whole laku, like mini laku shit going on both them damn floors, bro. Like, I don't know what he was doing.
Were they doing like some type of ceremonies?
Yeah, they were doing all types of stuff, along with, you know, American illegal stuff, like selling drugs and stuff like that. So apparently, eventually, because the cops wasn't playing back then, Elizabeth cops don't care now.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit. But back then, they actually did their job, y'all. So they launched this whole entire investigation. They popped up in this dude's house. He turned into a whole pig. Like they came in his house. They really thought they was about to get this man. I don't know if they was looking through the window. I don't know how they. Yo,
out of all the things, he could have turned into that bird he was talking about.
He could have turned into a. He turned into a fly out of them pig. I said, wait, he turned into a what?
Was he trying to send a message to the cops?
Yo, that's what I would say. That's probably what he was doing. I was like, he turned into a whole pig, and no one's ever seen him.
They should have just made him into a griot. That's it.
That's what I would do. I was like, oh, you want to be a pig? Grill tonight. If I was one of those cops, I would have took her right down to the restaurant. Like, what? We got you a pig. Cook us some grill. No, he turned into a whole pig.
Yes, pig too.
Nobody's ever seen him again. Because clearly, who knows what happened there.
That's crazy.
That was my first ever, like, oh my god.
But do you like believe that that's true? There was just
I believe it there. Only because why the hell is this is Elizabeth, New Jersey?
You said there was all kind of shit happening.
Yeah,
Pet pig.
No, I've seen this apartment. I walked past. There's never no pig in there. Where'd they get a pig from? If it was a cat or a dog,
to have a pig though.
a pig. Like he was not trying to go to nobody jail. He said, "You're not about to catch me." He turned into a whole pig. I was just like, what? And I remember this happening because everyone was so shocked.
And that this is a thing Haitian people can do, and yet we're not really tapping into that.
Can
you imagine? They would never catch us. They would turn into pigs and birds and shit.
Like, I need to tap into that energy. I'm trying to be a cat.
Stop it.
I'm trying to be sage. You feel me? Like at this point, it's just like, how are we doing that? Like it's
like,
insane.
how can we do? How is it that some Haitian can do this and yet we're still where we are today?
I guess it's the spirituality version of it. Some people don't really care for the advancement of all of us. They care about the advancement of themselves.
Okay.
That's what black people's problem. Period. No matter where you come from, a lot of us only care about us.
Us in our context, but it's everybody.
It's everyone in general. Humans are shitty.
Yes,
humans are pretty shitty.
We are very
like even look at America. America's in all of these problems, all of these whatever, but we're like the best country ever, and it's like how, where, what? Meanwhile, we got sex trafficking.
Do we have mermaids though? Do y'all have mermaids? You know? Can you turn into pigs when they're arresting you?
They probably can in New Orleans. You know they got voodoo out there. Their voodoo is so interesting.
Theirs come from us, so
yeah, it does. But theirs is more interesting.
I do not care.
It does though.
Anybody out there who's going to say it's not from Haiti?
Yes, it is.
From Haiti.
Who's saying that? Y'all saying New Orleans voodoo? Well, y'all think they got that from themselves? They got that from the Haitians coming to the border trying to help them. Yeah, that's what that was.
So funny. Even before like our revolution, Afro-Shi, which was a lot of slaves that were brought by their slave owners, came to the U.S. and settled in Louisiana. Yeah. So their history comes from those Afro-Shi people. It does. And they don't recognize it. The whole Creole thing is about being born in the Haitian island. Everybody born there is named Creole. So that's where this came from. Regardless of their origin.
I'll be damned if I hear someone say that. Yeah.
Like, from friends, wherever, but they're Creole. So that's where that lineage comes from.
It's ridiculous. Like Haitians was out here, yo, back then, shit, I need to meet those types of Haitians. They was out here, they got the independence. They was trying to come to America to help the slaves, which is wild. I love New Orleans. One of my favorite places in the United States has to be New Orleans and Seattle. Two of my favorite places.
Okay, Seattle's nice.
New Orleans is beautiful, and it's like the sense of culture is like everywhere. You see it in the buildings, you see it in the food, you feel it. Like it's not like going anywhere. It's very different because it's like most places you just go, oh, okay, I enjoy it, but it's like a spiritual something about that place. Okay. I don't know what it is, but the thing is,
it's the little Asian spice, you know?
Right, but at the same time, it's heavy. Like if you're an empath, I wouldn't feel it. Yeah, because I guess that's what it is for me. Because the energy is very thick.
Like it's a very thick energy.
Did you get your hands red and stuff?
Kiss out with man? Bro, I was stressed.
She's out here talking about voodoo stories and she couldn't even get that done.
Stressed.
About why?
Because the energy, yo, you have to visit. You'll be like, all right.
Okay.
And plus, I went to Mardi Gras and all of that too. So, I mean, I was out in the street and I was like, so much energy. Like, it's just, like, you could just feel it. It's just weird. It's like you could always feel like there's something.
I got my hands red, my coffee red, the whole thing red, you know what I mean?
I'm not doing none of that. I was like,
I don't think getting your hands red
I don't think,
is
I don't
like
know.
that.
I just didn't want to just
First of all,
go anywhere.
I know it sounds weird, but I rarely ever believe that people have that kind of psychic power. So I would just do it just.
The thing is, I've known so many people who have been scammed by these psychics.
That's what I'm saying.
And
Like,
stuff, so I just don't.
I feel like it's easy to like read people's hands and pretend, because there's so many things that are generalized.
Yeah.
So when you just say, oh yeah, there's so many in your life.
And so I just don't,
like, oh yeah, Gary, and you're like, oh yeah, Gary, and you're like,
I don't want to know. Like, how about they tell me I'm gonna die tomorrow? Like, I don't want to know that. Just let me die.
I don't think I would say something so extreme.
I heard they don't, but still, like, I don't want to know.
First of all, if they said extreme stuff like that and it never came true, like that would clearly give away.
I mean, like, that's why when I looked at my birth chart, I've always been freaked out. And to this day, I still think about my birth chart.
Your astrology.
Yes, because I'm like, oh my god.
I totally apply astrology.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where it's like, if I get weirded out by that, you think I'm about to go get my, hell no, I don't want to know, thank you.
But don't you feel like knowing your chart makes you like understand who you are?
I feel like me, well, I started out because I really was curious, because that's when I first started college. So I was like, okay, am I in college for the right reason? Am I studying the right thing? Am I, you know? So my friend did it for me, and I was just like, oh shit, this is terrifying how real this is. Because like, yeah, it was literally from my birthday to the time I was born and everything. And it all matched up, but what terrified me was it said that like I was on my last life. Like if I don't get my life right now, I ain't coming back. So I was like, oh, you see? This is why I want to know this shit. Now I'm sad. Like that means I failed.
People, like,
I know, yeah. That my birth chart did say I'm supposed to be an entertainer. And something about me actually like being more in the entertainment field in terms of singing and dancing and all that. I was like, that's a joke because I don't want to be an artist at all. I like dancing.
You should probably sing.
I don't want to. Yeah, I do sing, but I don't think it's a thing that I want to do.
Use your voice differently instead of being an artist like a mainstream artist. Maybe, you know,
The only music.
gospel, stuff like that.
I don't like that music. I hate gospel music. That sounds bad.
You have a beautiful voice.
I do.
don't know.
Thank you very much, girl. Thank you.
Okay, that was not a compliment. That was just a fact. Like the fact of the matter is, you do have a beautiful voice. Why not use it?
I
If
don't
you know
like
that's
gospel
part of
music,
your-
so that's that. But if anything, honestly, if I was to make music, I'd probably make compa music. It's the only music I like.
Well, Haitian people are not that, like, even if you're a Haitian artist, you're not that famous to the point where your life becomes like miserable. So I'm just saying, here when you're famous, it's like your life becomes miserable.
Yeah.
People don't talk about it much. I feel like some artists talk about it now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not that great to be famous. But
That's why I don't want to
in
be
Haiti,
famous.
I feel like they have that world where they're, even though I feel like they're underappreciated, but I do feel like the whole not feeling like they're celebrity, seeing them as human has helped them significantly as well. So I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
it could be that.
I have looked into it, but it's funny because even like now, people will look at me and they'll be like, "Do you sing?" And I'm like, "How do what?"
Yo, I kid you, I was literally I was Neewer downtown buying
And you
sandals.
could tell.
Yeah, a dude came up to me, he was like, yo, you look like you sing. I said, where did you get that inclination? He was like, oh, I rap, I do poetry.
People's eyes don't lie.
It's a little weird. It's just weird that people can literally look at me and tell that I'm artistic. I'm like, I'm a creative. I'm a creative. Because how do people know that? Like, it's so odd to me. It's like, do people just have inclinations of shit? Because I can't look at somebody and be like, oh, you look like a bum. I can't do that. What?
You look like a cuckoo.
Right, like, who does that? Like, you look like a chef. It's weird. Like, and I've gotten that my entire life. And it's just like, okay, at this point, I'm never gonna be a singer. I don't think I will. Maybe one day. If anything, I'll probably just be lazy as hell and just drop covers on Instagram. Like, because I don't want to be a singer.
Maybe be anonymous. Drop albums and just let people find you. If it's meant to be you, if you were meant to be famous, it all happened, you know.
I need you.
But here's the thing about LOUGAWOU. I feel like they're not necessarily what we've been led to believe, like the people who are like flying.
That's what I've been led.
I've always called vampires people who just draw energy, right?
Yeah.
Like they can suck blood for energy, they take your soul for energy,
True.
they take your vibe for energy. I think that's vampirism. So the reason why I say it's kind of like a vampire thing is because when my sister was like, what, barely 2, not even 2 years old, it was her and my mom in the house by themselves, right? But my mom doesn't believe in like having children sleep with her or be around. So she left my sister in a room and she was just hanging out doing stuff. And she was on our porch, but from our porch you can see our living room. And she felt like she saw a shadow. Now she's like, what could this be? And she thought it was in Haiti we have maids. She thought it was our maid. And then she remembered, fuck, our maid's not there. She went to like the market or to do something, so that couldn't be that. So she went inside, and as she's going inside, she went to check on the nightcap to see if everything's okay. And she sees like a how would you say, like a train, somebody's train. And then as soon as she popped into the room, she saw the train running. So she runs after the train, and that stuff disappeared. And she goes back to the nightcap, and there's blood all over the floor.
Train, like a trail?
Like a cloth, like the train of somebody, like somebody's clothes. She saw the person
Like
running.
a wedding dress train? What kind of dress is this?
Or a veil or something.
Yeah, maybe
you know how which is where those very long big. Could be that. So she saw that, she ran after it, and when she went back to the nightcap, and she saw blood coming out of her umbilical area, the belly button, and blood is just spilled all over the thing. She freaks out, takes the nightcap, brings her to the doctor, like calls my dad. My dad comes, they bring her to the doctor. The doctors cannot find where like the blood is coming from. And they turn her around, the baby's okay, except the blood's on the floor, and everybody could see the blood on the floor. So now we're thinking that, could it have been a vampire? Could it have been anybody? So
Definitely
what
vampire.
happened is, like maybe a couple of months after that, somebody who has spirit in their head. In Haiti, there's a concept of like people who practice voodoo, or maybe don't even practice. They have spirit that sing in their head.
I've heard of
that. Person comes to my mom and said, something happened to you recently, and my mom goes, you guys always say stuff like that. Yeah, something happened to me recently. And she goes, no, about your daughter. You saw blood coming out of her belly button, right? And then my mom was like, yeah. And she said, it's your aunt who tried to suck that baby's blood. And my mom was like, my aunt did that? And then he was like, yeah, it's your aunt. And my mom just never talked about it ever again.
Where's the aunt?
Decided to never be in contact with that aunt. Like we kind of like, that's when we started drifting away from that person. That person is still in Haiti. Yeah. But
And y'all ain't cut her head
that's how
off?
the story is.
Y'all some good people. Anyone else would have cut her head off. My family would have cut her head off. That's how we roll. Machetes.
But
Boom.
that aunt technically kind of weighs my mom after both my parents are orphans. They don't have parents.
Oh, that sucks.
So that aunt was the youngest of her family, and that aunt kind of like raised, you know, my mother.
Maybe she got turned
And I
into a
feel
Luau
like-
later or something.
My mom says that she was very curious about a lot of voodoo aspects, and she started getting too deep into it. That could be it, but my mom doesn't quite believe that she would do something like that to Dana. She just kept her distance. So I don't know.
When you think somebody would just randomly come up to you and tell
You know
that y'all
what's so
aren't dead?
funny? I feel like my family, even if they have experienced stuff like that, they don't quite believe it, and that's probably why I'm a skeptic myself. I feel like a lot of things can be explained with scientific, like you know how you were talking about the zombie thing. You're saying that it could be like spiritual, but it could also just be medical stuff.
Yeah,
like
that's
drugs.
where I'm really on the fence. Like the zombie thing, I'm very on the fence.
I'm very on the fence about a lot.
But I believe it.
voodoo stories.
But I believe it. You know, like I have friends who tell me like, oh, you know, they had a whatever sibling, but you know, a LOUGAWOU came and ate them and killed them, and now they don't have a sibling,
Yeah, and I'm just like, I can't tell you, oh, you crazy. Your kid, you know, your mom wilding, maybe the kid had malaria. I can't say that. So I'll just be like, oh, okay, sis, that's crazy. Like, I have a lot of friends that tell me, like, yeah, I had a sister in Haiti, but LOUGAWOU came and ate them. And I just be sitting there like...
A lot of stories like that.
That's why they don't bring kids to Haiti. Like,
people are scared.
Yeah, you do not bring kids to Haiti because they will eat them.
But I grew up in Haiti and I was fine.
Bruh, that's what I'm saying. Vava,
my life in Haiti and I was fine.
Haiti and they just fine. Yeah. But then again, my dad told me, you know, actually, my dad told me some LOUGAWOU tried to eat me here, actually.
Oh, shoot.
At a supermarket. Yo, now that I think about it.
That's real bold. That's
yeah, and that's why my dad was about to kill her. Like, you bold as shit. That's just, like, yeah. Yeah, because I was one of those kids where, you know, I'm still the same. Like, I was always dressed, but I guess I get that from how my parents used to dress me. Yeah. So I was one of those kids. I would be in a full-blown church fit in the supermarket.
So Capricorn. Our parents do that to us. We don't even realize it. We grow up.
They instilled
fasting and the whole like.
Man, listen. I had the whole impression that I was like, oh my god, I had this whole radical thing where I was like, I'm gonna be a tomboy because I'm tired of these dresses. But then I went right back to dressing up all the time.
And people say astrology is not real.
It's real. It's real,
real.
It's real. Like, I had that whole phase where I was like, I'm gonna wear sneakers and dress like a boy. And my parents hated it, but now look at me.
And now I just
heels all the time.
My mom says, où sont je l'autre seulement mettez rad garçon? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, now you just wanna walk around naked? I'm like, okay.
Yeah, now I went right back. It's crazy. Like, so I used to be dressed. I was one of those kids that people were so fascinated by. They're like, oh, got a dance here, athlete. That, you know, annoying, you know, Haitian sumo and shit.
That's true.
So
she was jealous, in a way.
Kind of. That's what I think my dad thought at first. Because I was one of those people, I never let my dad leave the house without me, period. I would hide his keys. I'd be like, you ain't going nowhere if I ain't going. He'd be like, okay, can I have the keys? You can come. Yeah, I was that type of person. I'd take his keys, make sure he couldn't go. I made him late for work. It was to the point where my dad worked at Domino's when I was like a kid. I had a name tag because I was always there. I had a name tag, okay, because I loved going places with him. So I went to the supermarket with him, and this lady was just like, oh, Bella TBT. The lady starts following us throughout the entire store. Like, just keeps like on some scary shit, not even on some okay.
Maybe it was more human trafficking.
No, it was a no dare human trafficking. Because then she ends up coming.
85% black women being trafficked.
She ended. I mean, possibly, but she came up to my dad like numerous times in the store too. Like, she gave the compliment, started following, came back, started following, came back. Like, she would just be acting weird, like. Like the questions you don't ask a normal person, like, oh, where did you make her? Was she born here in Haiti? Oh, what is just strange questions. Woo, my dad ripped her a new one.
Yo, I never thought there was LOUGAWOU. Like,
there are. I know. I think I know one, but let me not say anything.
Okay,
but where I go, yeah, I know. There's some people that are said to dibble and dabble in that type of stuff, and they are, yes.
In the US?
Yes. Yes.
That's real bold. In the supermarket?
Yeah. Yo, and it would be easy because all you gotta do is give the kid a Lafayette, and then there you go.
That's true. That's true.
It's not that hard. So yeah.
That is true.
And my dad don't play that because he, you know, he's in that voodoo stuff too. So he's like, if you think you're about to eat my kid, you got something else coming for you. Like he was, it was like this whole thing. And she was just like, I never heard of questions like that. Oh, where'd you make her? Oh, what kind of, no, what the question that was really weird, she had something about my blood type, and that's when my dad was like, alright, I will fuck you up.
First of all, your dad entertained her that much.
That's what I said.
She wouldn't even have
but my dad is that type of person. Like, he wants to really get the shit so then he could really rip you a new one. So he's not about to see where is this going. He's like, what you need to know? What do you like? And he was like, listen, got it. My true. Like, he was like, I will kill you in this supermarket. She walked smooth out the store. Like,
your dad reminds me of my mom. My mom is very territorial in that way. She would do whatever for her kids.
Yeah, that's why, you know, it's crazy because people think that this is just in Haiti. Nah, bro. Haitians or people in general can do it. It's not just Haitians.
Like, mostly in Haiti.
You know,
I know people here. Like, I know there's white magic, there's black magic. I know.
No, there's Haitian voodoo in the States.
Not of Haiti.
Even listen, when you go home, look up voodoo stories in the US. There's actually lots of like murders and stuff that are kind of linked to voodoo. I was gonna do a video about that, but I'm lazy. But I'm gonna do it eventually. Like there's stories. I'm telling you, shoot LOUGAWOU, y'all. There's stories.
So I'm a LOUGAWOU. They hate LOUGAWOUs, first of all.
I mean, you're right. Shit. Well, maybe you're the LOUGAWOU.
Anyway,
and that's your sister.
I just want to say that in ancient Egypt,
That's your sister.
in ancient Egypt, actually, cats recognize loyalty.
Yeah. So cute.
I'm just bullshitting you guys. I don't know. I'm not saying loyalty.
I know that they really liked cats, but I never really looked into the extent.
Obsessed with cats, as they should.
They're so cute. But yeah, basically, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people out here that do Haitian voodoo that aren't even Haitian. Can you imagine that? Yes, there's a lot of non-Haitians
that, especially recently, for some reason,
because of freaking TikTok.
Some
voodoo,
people
Twitter.
have like slightly trying. They think they can do it, and it's like those are not your ancestors.
They're
Those are
really
not.
That's
your
what I be
spirits.
saying.
What are you
And they're like,
doing?
oh, the spirits don't care about race. Okay, go ahead. Hey,
Spirits do care about.
we're
race.
talking about Haitian voodoo. Literally, Haitians, the first black republic in the world, who fought off their whole white masters.
You know how
massacred them, knocking on doors.
There's this show American
Killing
Gods, like in the US. Like there's a show American Gods where they talk about the different gods in. No, it's fiction, but also slightly related to like
American
history.
Gods.
Yeah, it's a really good show.
That sounds good. I want to watch that.
It's a really good show. But they talk about different gods from where their origins are. And I feel like if white people have their own gods, what the hell are they? Why?
I don't get it.
Go and find out more about
Too many white
gods
people
that are not of your own culture.
Too many white people have this logic of thinking they can just do whatever the fuck they want. Everything should be inclusive. No, that's not how it works.
They think they are. Yeah.
Get their own
I would
on.
say I don't think you are that strong. If you don't know something about voodoo, see, I don't believe in it that much. I don't know that people have that kind of supernatural power, but I would never try to infiltrate myself just to
See, that's the thing. It's not
something
more
I don't know
so.
quite much about.
It's not more so the person that has the power in that aspect. It's the person who is serving whatever loi it is, the loi or the, I guess, ancestor, who, depending on how you see it, is the one that's giving the person the power. It's more supernatural. It's not really the person on some Jesus. Like, it's not like that.
I mean, I do believe that Jesus was a magician.
Yeah, true.
That's what
But
it
it's
is.
just like, like the law comes within the person and allows them to do certain things, kind of shit. You know?
Okay, yeah.
That's how a lot of people, that's really how it is.
But the thing is, people be acting like it comes from them. Like
no,
they can do
it's
that.
not. It's
I don't
definitely
think
not.
you can.
It's not that you can do it. It's more so you can seek the help to do it, and if they want to, because there's a whole process to these things. Like, for example, Ezra is not gonna come if her altar not clean. She bougie like that. If her shit ain't clean, she's like, yeah, she's like,
I always
like,
thought
you know,
it
like
was weird that a lot of Pili steel are like very dirty.
Oh,
and in my head, it's like, why does spirit like that kind of environment?
Some
If
of
I
them
was
are
a
just
spirit
like
myself,
that.
I would never want to be around
They
that kind of
all
trash.
have different personalities, and they're, I guess, whatever they did before, if they were a Loa or, like the Gede, who were actual people, it depends on what they did before, it depends on how they died, or it depends on a lot of shit. Okay. So realistically, a lot of these people think they just do what they want. And I'm like, good luck when a Loa come and kill your ass because you want to serve shit that you have no
I heard
business
recently
serving.
people are Xing the moon. I was like, what the hell do you have to be? Like, why are you Xing the moon? What did the moon do to you?
I'm over these people.
What can the moon do? Like, can people X the moon?
I've
Can
heard of
somebody answer
it,
that
but I don't
for
know
us?
what that even means.
What is that?
Per se? Like, I've seen it, but I'm
But
like,
why
what
would
is
you
it?
just X the moon? That affects technically all women and all of us, all human beings. When now almost like 65% water. Doesn't the moon work with the tides?
It does.
So you Xing the moon, are you Xing humankind in a
Pretty
way?
much. Some people
What
are just
you
evil as
doing?
hell. I mean, I get maybe it's not an evil thing.
This is not even if it's possible, this is not even something somebody should be thinking
Yeah,
about.
I'm gonna look into what that even means. Cause when I looked into it when I looked into the white girl who did the voodoo and died like an idiot. I came across that shit. I was like, y'all, hey, God, talk about some. She was trying to find Papa leg bug. I'm like, are you dumb?
First of all, in Louisiana, Papa Legba is huge. I don't know why white people would even
American
try.
Bruh, and you know what makes me mad? When I saw the American Horror Story thing on Papa Legba, I was like, that look like Bao and Samdi to me. That don't look like no damn Papa Legba.
That did look like.
That's what the fuck she found. She found Bao because Papa Legba don't go around
more like that guy who plays in what Princess and the Frog.
Yeah,
that was more like that spirit.
I think it was. That's what I was.
Know why they
because white people always messing stuff up. If it's not their own narrative, they don't care to get the shit right.
Why would you mess something up and then play with that stuff? If you're messing it up, that means you're disrespecting it. You don't know anything about it. You're gonna
like she was writing statuses like, oh, I seen Papa Legba, I'm scared, I'm trying to get Papa. Yeah. But then when we're sitting there, I'm thinking, I'm like, wait, Papa Legba is a nice type of Loa though. He doesn't really kill people.
I haven't heard he was nice.
Oh, Sandy type of thing, to be honest. I was like, Papa Legba is not gonna really kill somebody. But then again, but she was trying to do shit to her ex. So any Loa is gonna be upset about that at that point. Even the nicest Loa is probably gonna kill you for that. Like, oh, you wanna kill your ex, you wanna, oh.
Especially
Papa Legba wanted babies, right? Pure babies.
Well, in the America's own stories, that's what
he wanted.
That's what they said in the American Horror.
That's why when people are like, LOUGAWOU are trying to eat children, I think to myself, it's not necessarily they are eating the children. They're probably giving them away. But you know how we always say that soul is energy?
Yeah,
and the
babies have pure soul.
Pure energy is from a baby. I think that's where this comes from. The whole like sacrificing baby, sacrificing virgin. So like people who haven't really experienced life as much, so their energy is as like potent as possible. So that's where.
But what do they do with them?
Maybe because okay, think about it. If you harness as much, and you know how people say people like live on fear, they make us fear everything, and then they harness that energy.
Absolutely.
That's powerful enough to maybe propel other like their life in their lives. They can propel like they can use that energy to become more powerful, and therefore like I don't know, gain wealth, gain power in the world, gain certain statuses. I think that it's the only way I would see that. The
it has to be something. I never think about it. I know the sacrifice thing is a thing, but what are we sacrificing for? Like, are you taking? Is it becoming part of your little army? Like, what? I never understood that.
I know that the ancient Aztec people used to kill human beings, like a lot of human beings, to like for the blood, to sacrifice to the gods.
Oh,
so that could be it. The whole like sacrificing babies to the gods to show a certain respect. That way, the God gives you something back.
Damn, you can't kill a dog or something. You gotta kill a human. That's
different sacrifices mean different
things. Yeah, that is
true.
true.
You can kill a human being who's just like you. That's like the highest.
In ceremonies, they use chickens.
Chickens, pig blood.
But those are like for little energy or little.
Yeah,
but if you want the real deal, you might have to go further.
Yeah, if you want like real serious shit, you have to kill a whole person for the most part,
or you have to kill multiple.
Actually, that makes sense, and that's why like I guess that goes into the whole. Usually they kill people that already ain't shit, because it's like, well, you already ain't shit anyway. So yo, it's crazy. They're like, yeah, like you're already a rapist, you're already a thief, you're already you pissed me off last week, so listen. Shoot, to Mama Brigitte, you go. You feel me? Yo, I really think that's probably what it be.
Because it's like, well, you fucked me up.
I'll fuck you up. That like from what I've seen from a lot of like voodoo creatures, it usually happens. It usually happens to do with like, oh, this person was this person was that. You never really hear good, genuine people actually being killed or like, and that sounds fucked up.
But to be fair, I feel like even if you were to die, somebody would find something about you that was negative and blame it on that.
All I do is curse people out. They're gonna say someone did something.
Like, parce que tellement parler mal. Tellement fait YouTube vidéo.
Yo, Johnny Flip, it was like a porn with. They gonna say, don't listen. If I die, y'all please don't let nobody say no crazy ass stories.
Some other
oh God,
it's the same thing they do when they kill a black person. They always try to find like something bad they've done negative to, like the person died. It was worth it to do that. That's where the consequence is from.
I love Rara. Stop.
Well, you mean?
Stop. I'll be out here like.
Speaking of shop well,
I'm fine. Okay, I'll be in me and my dad being around like, hey, yeah. I don't care that shit lit.
Poppy was playing that the other day.
Rara music is elite. I don't care.
Me and my dad are like obsessed with that. We went to the soccer game when Haiti was playing against, I don't know, I forgot which country.
Was it Brazil?
Costa Rica.
It was one of them Spanish places.
Yeah, when we were playing, and then after the night we won, there was a huge guy.
Yeah.
You said my dad was going.
Yo. My mom hates that. I don't want to shit.
And it's so funny because my dad is a very serious person, but when it's somewhere out there, like you,
no, my dad is the same.
He'll show out. So my sister actually gave me this story that I got. She said that, okay, so she was friends with a girl, and that girl's uncle, when he was little, he used to live in a neighborhood where they said that there were a bunch of well. Now at night, he would wake up, hear music, Gaga type of music, and then when he would like, you know, come back to like when we would wake up during the day, he would tell people, "Did you hear this last night?" And they would be like, "No, we didn't hear anything."
I've heard stories like that.
"Did you hear this last night?" No. So now he's like, "Okay, I can't be hearing voices."
Oh no.
So now he another night
you hear
it happens
voices
again. He wakes up, goes to look, doesn't see anything. So when he wakes up and tells them, "I don't see anything," people are like, "You need to stop. If you hear something, act like you never heard anything. If you like listening to things, act like you're not listening. You know, see no evil, you know evil, all that shit, and don't talk about this thing anymore." Now he doesn't listen. He wakes up and then actually goes.
Why does all voodoo stories sound like that?
He goes outside. No, that's he goes outside and actually sees the Gaga people this side, like the Shopwell people. I call them Shopwell people. I feel like Gaga and Shopwell are kind of different in the way.
Not the same.
Yeah, one is more voodoo, and the other one is more
culture. One is just music and
yeah. So when he sees those people, he became like he couldn't talk anymore. Like it's like because he saw them, like he stopped talking.
Did he stop talking or he took his voice?
No, I don't know. He could never talk anymore. Like he just became mute.
You should have listened. They don't know. I've always heard of stories. I've heard those. Yeah, I've heard of those stories. Like if you hear them, you are not supposed to
at
go.
night. Like
why would you go
no
outside?
business? You have no business.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
To be fair, my dad, when I was little, I was very scared, like super scared of the dark.
Yeah, you should be in Haiti, especially because the night ain't for humans.
You know what my father did? In our house, we had a little LOUGAWOU area. He locked me outside. Spent the whole night there crying. He never opened the door. But it actually helped me. It helped me not be scared of the dark. Let me tell you. Haitian parents are rude.
That's fucked
It's so weird.
That is
their
not.
mindset is that you cannot be scared of the dark, so I'll put you in the dark.
Oh god.
So
It's like
when
the
you
same
come
thing
back,
about stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about. You have a fear, I'm gonna make you
but
feel,
I was like,
oh.
I don't know why I was so scared. Here's the thing: when we used to live in Haiti, we had a lot of maids, and they tell me stories because they come from the province.
Yeah,
they see things.
That's where that.
You know what's so funny?
Really
my parents don't know these things, and they're telling me those things.
Really?
So my mom, before I was born, my mom had twins, but they died stillborn, and then I came after them. Now, one day by myself, like with the maid, we're talking, they're telling me, "Oh yeah, do you know anything about Dosu Marasa?" And I'm like, "What is a Dosu Marasa?" And they're like, "Well, technically you were Dosu." And I was like, "What do you mean by that?" Said that you were born after twins.
Oh shit.
And I'm like, in the Haitian voodoo, Dosu Marasa are like the triplet or the twins or whatever, and they have powers, and they actually have very, very powerful people, and you can use them to do things for you. And they're like, "Well, if you're not gâté, you could do magic." And I was like, "What does that mean?" They said that the dosu is actually even better, or like has bigger energy than the marasa, and the twins. That is, the twins can when they're together. Twins in general have telepathy. They understand.
Yeah.
Even here in the U.S., I've heard that twins have that kind of connection. In Haiti, they can X people and do like really bad things to people when they're very angry, when you upset the twins. But the only person that can undo that magic of the twin is the dosu person. But if the dosu is dead, you can never undo the magic of the twins. At least that's what the maids were saying to me. So the dosu is more powerful than the marasa.
Well, your marasa are dead, so
exactly. But not even that. They said that I was gâté because they made me eat fur, like legumes.
God.
So all that stuff. Wasted.
Oh, you're powerful.
My mom.
Wait, so
I was like, why'd you make me eat legumes? She was like, that shit is good in your mouth. Relax.
These people told you that you're powerful, but you're useless.
Yes. because I can do shit because I ate legumes. I was like, this is not
That's never. I've heard things about like twins having power and all of that,
Nobody
or the whole
right thing in Haitian voodoo,
or even the people. I've heard things about like, you know, if you're one twin that was born and your twin dies, you eat that
because you got that little figure,
yeah,
figure on the side. I heard those too.
I was like, ooh, that's interesting. Well, luckily my parents didn't have a kid after the twins that she lost, because that would have been interesting.
Well, I don't know, but like, it's, if you don't know, you're gonna make your kids eat anything. So the likeness of them eating furry, or like, you know, furry.
I'm gonna make my parents have another kid so I could use them to do things for me. I'm like too much. Yo, can you imagine? I'll be like, hey, make me fly. I don't know.
I don't think they can do it.
I don't think they can do all that either. But, you know,
I feel like it's more like hurting people, or like making them sick in their stomach.
They could
giving
really,
them really
that's
bad.
so
Twins
interesting.
can do that. If twins hate you, well, from what I hear,
you know what? You're
they
right.
can do
I've even heard
really
American
horrible.
stories about shit like that, and
They
I'm
say
like,
don't
that's
trust
weird.
twins.
Yeah.
If they work together, they manifest something bad happening to you, it can really happen to you. And there's a thing, you know those lizards in Haiti, we call them zandolit?
Yes, zandolit, yeah.
Zandolit, they use those to do stuff with. That's what they said.
Why is zandolit?
And I'm scared of zandolit, so I knew
They're
for a
so
fact that I was
cool.
gonna because
I like them. They're cool. Bro, we might have to do a part 3, 5, 8, 10, because at this point, I'm gonna be doing videos with other people as well. Shit,
I'm
might have to
sure they
bring
have
Pearl
their
back. Because you got stories for days.
I want to hear other people's stories. I'm gonna watch those.
Oh, these stories. My comment section be crazy on my Haitian channel, so it's gonna be interesting. Comment down your stories, y'all. I want to hear all your voodoo stories, because
What's anything about mermaids? Because I'm interested about those.
mermaid. No, I want to hear some baka stories, since I don't know what a real. Like, I don't understand the baka phenomenon.
Oh my god, that's actually a very
insult that people call it.
No, a baka's a real thing. My mom explained to me the other day that a baka's a real thing.
I really thought it was a human being.
I thought it was an ugly
person. They should be fake on it. They should be fake. Honestly.
I knew we pushing you.
She just threw me out of there. She's like,
it's kind of like a zombie, or like a LOUGAWOU, or like it's a thing that people turn you into when you ain't shit. Yeah, it's something that people turn you into. Okay, again, like any other voodoo thing, when you ain't shit, they could turn you into a baka.
I never thought. I thought it was
just a word they made up to me. No,
like maybe somebody like Quasimodo would be a baka in Haiti. Not very.
If y'all got any baka stories, let me know.
Yeah, let us know
because
about that.
I want to know more about bakas, and I can't really find much online, so I really have to sit with my dad and take
That's
notes.
the thing too. I feel like a lot of our stories about Haiti, like I feel like somebody should go out there and do more research. Like there should be more YouTube videos of mermaid stories.
They try. But what happens is, unless people tell their personal stories.
People be telling you. Like
Some people are scared.
You be minding your own business. People be telling you there's zombies. So like
probably someone did it and then they get erased mysteriously because no one wants their information about what.
Yeah, and some people are afraid to talk about these types of things. Like people will come on my video like, oh, I'm scared, but I'm watching anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope Vava won't come in my bathroom. Oh, I hope Ezuli doesn't hex me.
Vava is not that. What is it? Candyman? No, it's not Candyman.
Like they think that we talk about the boogeyman under their bed or something. Like nobody cares about you. Like the law are not about to come and attack you. Like it's not that serious. They about to Yeah, they're not coming after people, and it's so ignorant and annoying, because it's like, I would imagine if I was someone that actually like, you know, was a voodoo, you know, if voodoo was my religion, I'd be very offended, because it's like, you don't say shit like that. Like if you don't understand it, fine, but you don't have to come like, oh, I'm scared, oh, but I'm watching it anyway. All right, bitch, shut up, don't come.
So that means you're curious.
Oh yeah, I believe that it's a thing. I believe that, you know, voodoo is definitely a thing. Is it my religion? No, I ain't got a religion. I'm just Yvana, and I believe in.
I feel like also people associate those things to like voodoo, but it could just be just black magic.
No, yeah, that's two different things. Two different things. Voodoo is a religion. Black magic is a whole nother thing.
It just so happens that you can use the religion in a wrong way, just like
in conjunction.
You know.
And thank you. I'm like, white people went around with the damn Bible, killing people, slaying people, and y'all talk about some voodoo's bad.
Exactly.
The whole Bible condones slavery. Y'all talk about, you know what? I just get so annoyed. Because every time I make one of these videos, oh, Lord, the Lord will save you. This is demonic. Are you dumb? Are you dumb?
She alright.
She'll
be alright.
But my God. They gonna eat me today. My ancestors motherfuckers ain't about to let me get eaten. Out here just trying to bring awareness. I'm tired.
Y'all go out of your way to like bother things.
Bruh, yeah, like
They do. They don't mind your business.
Exactly.
Mind your business. You
Like,
don't know, shut the fuck up.
if you don't know,
you're
try.
interested, talk about it. But
Exactly.
don't make it seem like you know everything.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I just want to bring awareness to the fact that it's not evil all the time. You know, like people that do voodoo are not.
Or
terrible
even
people.
at all. Inherently, it's not
Yeah,
evil.
it's not. It's
just
not supposed
people
to. People
can
ain't
use
shit.
it to do bad stuff.
Yeah, people just ain't shit, and
I feel
it's
like it's so bad to say that somebody's religion is bad.
it is bad
How
because you
dare
don't know
you,
that
you
you're
know?
not part of the religion. Like it's not. That's not okay at all. It really isn't. It's like at the end of the day, if you don't understand something, fine. If you want to learn about something, fine. But don't just go and say shit out of turn.
But I do feel like there should be more information out there.
Oh,
If we
child.
want-
But I think
feel like information helps us.
the thing is
bridge
with
that.
Haitians, I believe Haitians don't want people to know about voodoo.
Okay.
Because there's been lots of people that actually went to Haiti to try to find out shit and they just never
Yeah,
come back with
that's true,
shit.
teacher.
Or they die. They die, they get arrested, they come back with nothing. There's actually a whole documentary on YouTube of this guy that tried to find out about the zombie shit, and it was so funny because it's like this nigga got scammed. Paid all this money to try to get information. This was a fake ass Oga. I was like, this is a joke. Yeah, like he got scammed. It is just
You
it
can
happens.
get real fast.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. I
Shit.
feel like a lot of who
What? Let a white person come up to me like, hey, show me the voodoo. What? I'll wrap my hair? I'm gonna put the whole outfit on like,
Give me 100 grand.
give me 100 grand and I'll show you how to turn someone, right? I'll show you how to turn someone to a frog. Like, what? I was scammed them too, cause mind your damn business. What?
What you want to know for?
What you gonna do? No, white people can't have those types of powers, okay? They can't,
That's
no,
true.
they can't.
You're
It,
right.
it should stay where it is. That's why even in certain videos, I don't say certain shit.
But
you know?
but I also feel like because people like us who are not white clearly and were part of that culture, we're made to fear that stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And so lack of education, lack of information makes it very difficult for us to even like wrap our minds around these things.
True.
And that's not good for us. What are we gonna give out to the next generation?
Exactly.
If you
And that's
keep
a problem.
all the secrets.
That is a problem.
If you really just constantly keep all those secrets hidden, then what happens to the ones that come after? They'll never know.
That's
And those secrets get lost. And then what do they find us?
That's true.
Do the Loas find us without us? You know?
Yeah, I hope
Wanting
over
them,
time
will they
that-
not scare us when they come? Just like the zombie when they come to their family, that like,
I didn't even think about that part.
you know what I mean? Even if they wanted to make themselves known, we would be so scared we wouldn't even
That's true.
welcome that message anymore.
That is true.
So
that's another issue.
I feel like it's kind of restraining us, like
It is.
limiting us.
yeah, a lot of us have very closed minds, and it's not even just that.
Like
Sometimes
a lot
it's
of
just
stuff
like,
that I know
you
is from Google. If I can find it on Google, then who's gonna tell me?
Yo, I have to go
There's
to
a lot of
people.
information
I'm like,
out there.
hey, yo, sometimes I'm making a video,
See,
bruh.
that's what I'm saying.
But
You
even
have to
that
go
with
maybe and talk to
voodoo,
people who see
It's
things
it's
and talk about
hard
things.
because certain things you won't really see, like certain things, like the zombification shit was studied forever because the white people were being
They
nosy.
were interested.
Yeah, so that was easy to find. The
But
Lugawou
everything
thing was
else?
hard because first of all,
We don't even know what they look like.
Lugawou was spelled like 10 different ways,
That-
and then I
It
had.
felt like they were werewolves.
Oh
but
my,
maybe
yes!
not werewolves.
I've always heard shapeshifter, werewolf, so I'm like, okay,
so
this
we're
is
not.
hard.
There's so
So,
many things out there.
When I made my video, I had to put all 3 spellings in the title, and then I had to give every rendition. That's why usually when I do these videos, I make them. I'll be like, okay, so you may have heard of this if you're from Portugal. You heard of it as this,
Yeah.
or in da da da, because it is so much shit. Like
But it's
sometimes,
the same.
exactly,
It's like the same God but different names.
exactly.
I don't like that.
That happens
That
too.
causes confusion and makes
It
people
does.
think they're better than you because they
It
think
do.
they know more, but they don't.
Yeah, sometimes
They
it be
do
the same stuff, you know. Sometimes I think like, how about if like everyone's religion is actually one thing,
I think they're all
like literally just
all
one
intertwined.
thing, and all just intertwined and separated for no reason.
African spirituality. A lot of it has been plagiarized to make it fit different narratives.
That's sad to think about. They don't tell us the truth about shit.
No.
Like, you know, I just found out most of the indigenous people in the Caribbean weren't even indigenous, they were black. That shit pissed me off. And I've been meaning to do more research on it to make a video, but I'm
That's a
stressed.
conversation.
Yeah.
That's a conversation for
Indigenous
another day.
black people, like they weren't like
Like the
Native American.
Taino people, the
They-
Alawaks, you know, they said that they were
it's
just
not a
people
thing.
traveling in different continents.
It's not a thing. It didn't exist. They were black natives.
But I do want to believe that every person that was in the past, like every native could have been of dark skin, and the reason for that is because sun plated.
Oh yeah, I mean there were Native Americans. They just weren't in the
all
Caribbean.
original people. If we go by Darwinism, evolution, or whatever, as people were separated, tectonics, like I said before, like maybe their skin tone has. You know,
and if you put it by
slowly
location,
Latin,
like,
maybe their hair became longer but they were still black people.
Yeah, the theory is that they like the Native Americans we see now were mainly like in North America, up there because it's cold. It makes sense.
Colder,
Colder.
so of course their skin was much lighter.
Exactly. But then in Caribbean, Jamaica, clearly.
But technically, when Columbus was describing them, he did say they had red skin.
Yep.
So would he say black skin? Because when he describes slaves born in Africa, he clearly said dark skin. So there must have been some type of different hue
There's
here.
something, yeah.
There's something that was changed. They were black of origin, and I think everybody is black in Haiti, period.
At these Caribbean shits, like you ever seen the statues and stuff? Those little damn Native Americans, they look black. Like I just be sitting there like, huh?
The older ones.
You're right.
Yeah.
So.